All right, so we're back with my man Dennis Reed Jr., the gospel great of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I was asking you, I was curious to know, let's talk about that Charlotte music scene, man. How's it going down there?
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Charlotte, you cannot sleep on cannot sleep on Charlotte. Okay. Right. Now, first of all, before I even tell you what's going on right now, just understand we got, the great John P. Key lives in Charlotte. Donald Lawrence hails from Charlotte and Gastonia. You know what I'm saying? Even outside of we got Fantasia. We got KC. You know what I'm saying? We have Luke West from J. Cole's label. We got Da Baby. And we got Dennis Reed, So, Charlotte, I say all that to say, in all seriousness, Charlotte is a land of opportunity, and we never had a shortage of talent. We've never had a shortage of gifted singers. So right now, a lot of great things happening for Charlotte. Not only is the city growing exponentially, we're a banking city, but also, we're seeing, like right now, I've been working with the producers of Delilah, which is one of Oprah's new TV shows that actually is being filmed in Charlotte, North Carolina. Wow. Nice, so we're seeing more and more of those type of opportunities. Now, the one opportunity that I'm so glad that did not work out for Charlotte was the RNC, the Republican National Convention.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but being that she brought it up, I didn't want to go there. But I'm with you on that one. I'm absolutely there with you. Yeah.
We was side-eyeing our mayor for just a minute. We was like, why? Why?
Yeah. Because I go to Charlotte a lot. I'm down there quite often.
Yeah. So what do you think of the music scene in Charlotte?
The music scene in Charlotte, I when I go down there, I stay in the uptown area. This tallest building you have down there called the View.
Yeah, the View and Bank of America.
The tallest residential building. Yeah. That's why I usually go down and hang out. But I like the music scene of Charlotte. I think Charlotte reminds me of a little New York. Yep. It's a smaller version of New York, but it has a lot of great people. Yeah. The food is incredible.
Absolutely.
The talent is incredible, and it's just continuing to grow. And I think it's going to be on that level where, because I'm a New Yorker, so you guys are there. In my opinion, you guys are already there.
I appreciate that, man. And what's so crazy is we have so many New Yorkers that are relocating here. So that's been great for the city. And that also, for me, that's been great for the art scene, for the creative scene, because they're bringing that New York vibe to Charlotte. And, I'm a little thing about Charlotte. I told you that I grew up kind of sort of in my black church bubble. But, up until my 20s, I was just solely focused in my, like I said, my church circuit or whatever. Sure. But I made friends with a dude who played bass for a rock band here in Charlotte. Okay. Their name was Paper Tongues, and they were signed to Randy Jackson's label at the time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's a Dominican dude, whatever, playing bass. I mean, doing the crowd surfing. The crowd was going crazy. But when I began to diversify my social environment, I was opened up to a whole nother world within Charlotte. Because up until that point, I was not hanging out with the hipsters. I was not hanging out with the skateboarders. So I didn't know exactly that culture. But again, diversifying who I hang around, I started learning even more new things about the city. And that's only worked for my advantage when it comes to music. So,
and you're going to have that New York slang soon, man.
Yeah. And side note, he was from New York too. Right. So
that's so funny, man. So many people are headed to Charlotte, like you said. I like I said, I love the city of Charlotte. I'm in Virginia. I'm right outside of DC.
Yeah.
I love what Charlotte has to offer on a musical level, which is really cool. And that brings me to, I know you have a group. It's Dennis Reed and the Gap.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that group.
Man, first of all, I got so many groups. I know that some people might be confused with all that I got going on.
Right.
But I'll tell you this: Dennis Reed and Gap was a group that I started, a gospel ensemble that I started back when I was in my mid-20s. I was in college. I think I might have actually started before college, but you know, composed of some of the greatest singers that our city has to offer. And honestly, I would say, you know, I'm gonna be biased, but they're some of the most talented and gifted singers that I know.
There you go.
And a lot of them just so happen to be literally related to me or like my best friends.
Right. And that's the way it should be, because you build that relationship. Exactly. It's really important when you're working from a musical standpoint to have people that are, if not family, close to being family.
Listen,
because you know you can bounce off of each other. Everything works well. I'm good. You good. You know when my note is off. I know when your note is off, or whatever it is. And that's what's really important. Yeah,
and that's what's really important. We've been singing together, performing together for over 25 years now.
Oh, wow.
Now, because some of them are actually related, I don't know if people know this, but the blend between family members can be incredible sometimes. Right. And we just so happen to have a few family members that are actually related. And so, honestly, when I first started Gap, my whole vision, my whole outlook, my whole goal, hey, if I can be the next Donald Lawrence, or if I could be the next Kirk Franklin, or the next Ty Tribbett, that is where I saw myself. But the strangest thing happened, bro. God allowed some of the things that I thought would take my whole life, like to accomplish. I started accomplishing them earlier than I thought. And then a lot of the people who I consider my mentors, God started bringing them into my life. So now that causes you to dream bigger than just that environment or just that project. You know what I'm saying?
He got a plan for you, man. I mean, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit older than you are, but in life, sometimes what we think is the right thing is not the right thing. Bro. Sometimes we need to get out our own way.
Yeah.
And let God do what he does, because he will open up doors for you. He will make, as my mom used to always say, he will make the impossible possible. And when you think things are not going to work, when you think the world is getting ready to cave in on you and the world is closing in on you, guess what? He just waves his hand, man, and all of a sudden everything goes away, because he's going to put you where he wants you to be. You see? He's going to put you there. He's I see you, as you said, Ty Tribbett. Ty Tribbett used to live right next door to me in South Jersey. And
for real? Wow.
Yeah, he lived next door to me.
I know it was loud over there. It was loud over there. They had to be
and you remind me of, and personally, and I'm not just saying this because I like your work. I'm saying this because it's the truth. I see you as a Ty Tribbett. I see you as somebody that's going to be even bigger. I see you as somebody that's going to explode in many different things.
Wow.
You don't know this, but I'm already telling you, and I'm telling you this on this podcast, that God has a big plan for you, brother. If you just be patient and sit tight, you're going to ask yourself, what happened? How did this happen so fast?
Bro,
tell me.
I feel you, and I receive all of that, and I really appreciate that compliment.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're a great guy, man. I mean, your music is incredible. We got to talk about who was your musical influence?
I have a few musical influences. So,
okay.
My godfather, Ron Gilliam, Pastor Ron Gilliam, was the dude who he taught me how to teach choirs, train vocalists. So that's one. And he was the one who kind of first started teaching me how to play piano. That's one. Two, like I already said, Donald Lawrence, especially in the gospel arena, like really studying his work, how he does vocal arranging. And even after learning, you know, that he didn't even start just by doing Tri-City. I mean, he started by vocal coaching In Vogue and Stephanie Mills, and even influenced Lady Gaga to start writing her own songs. So Donald, Cedric Thompson, who also works hand in hand with Donald, but Grammy Award winning producer. And we've done some things together. He's one of my mentors for real. And then look, growing up, I'm gonna show y'all something. My greatest influence, especially childhood hero, was Michael Jackson.
Here we go.
Like I'm gonna tell you,
you got to chat.
You know, after my dog died, after my dog died, I had to get tatted up. So it was weird because my influences was Michael Jackson, Donald Lawrence, and Kirk Franklin. It was weird.
That's good.
Weird combo.
Good. hey, listen, it's music. Music is global.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I hate to categorize music. But music is music, and however or whoever you've come across in your musical journey,
thank you.
It's only going to get bigger and better for you. You know, I got to ask you. Well, I know about the song, and I heard the song, a long time ago, and I'd like to talk about Necessary.
Oh,
now, first I want to know, I know the story, but I want you to tell the story. How did you meet Fantasia, and how did you come about working on the song Necessary with Fantasia?
Okay, so the short version of this is,
right.
my very first time working with Fantasia was she had just released her record Lose to Win.
Yes.
And that was a big smash hit for her. So her team had been, when she was releasing the record, they surprised her with album release parties in different cities.
Right.
And so, but the surprise was that they had musical guests at each of these, release parties that even she didn't know about.
Right.
Where her stylist contacted me, was like, hey, we're going to be doing a release party, and we want to surprise Fantasia with a tribute performance, So he calls me. We literally have a day to prepare.
Wow.
Soon as he called me, I called E. Will. And for those who don't know, E. Will is now a pastor, but he's also an amazing MD, Life Turning Point Ministries. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But outside of that, he's an amazing musician, producer, music director.
Yes,
so I called E. Will. I said, hey, bro, we got to do something for Fantasia. Can you pull together a band? Boom. We do the night. It's crazy. Let me just say something about this night, though.
Okay.
It was packed to capacity in this club. Right. Now, I have done this musical arrangements. I'm going through some of her greatest hits, obviously, with my gospel group at the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but like part of my gospel group, I have a girl on there who actually was a finalist on American Idol. So I have her singing to her. So they're having an American Idol moment. All of this, boom. Darius, who's the stylist, has arranged has arranged, oh my God, her name just slipped my mouth. Please. Oh, okay. Gospel singer, famous gospel singer. She's now deceased, but she was the one who sung, Oh Lord, how excellent is thy name. Okay. Gosh, sings in the rafters. It's going to come to me in just a minute. But I say that to say, she sings that song. I look out into the audience. Everybody is lit, drinking their drinks and singing and worshiping God with their drinks in their hand. Like, especially,
you gotta love it. Yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
I was like, wow, I feel at home. Right. But so from that moment, that was my first time, first impression. 2 years later, E. Will becomes the music director for Fantasia, and they're preparing for tour. And then he calls me and says, hey, I gotta worry about the band. I need your help. Can you do the vocal stuff? Right. So look how that works, people. It's like when you build those relationships with people, it's not like one for one, but it literally is a network of friends, of creatives. So I put him on, and then he turned around and put me back on. So that's how I initially wound up working with Fantasia. Now, the crazy, again, this sounds like the long version, but what then happened is I worked with them for a few weeks, for the vocalist, working with her, auditioning people, and they leave for tour in 2 days. Now, as a vocal arranger, vocal coach, you don't go on tour with them. Right. But she says in the middle of rehearsal, she's like, I want you to go on tour with us, but I can't pay you to do vocal coaching because, clearly that work is pre. Right. She says, well, can you help me with wardrobe? And I'm like, yo, okay, but I just want you to know that I'm the type of nigga that do the smell test for his clothes, and when and when I don't iron clothes too much, but I put them in the dryer so that the wrinkles come off. So are you sure that you want me to be over the wardrobe for the whole tour? Nevertheless, I take on the task. I put my best foot forward. I'm working harder than I ever worked before. I learned so much about wardrobe, and I have such an appreciation for crew members and everything.
Right.
So, boom. Now, we're about midway through the tour. Mm-hmm. Now, okay. There's a song necessary, like that you're saying. Now, the last day, before we go on tour, the last day of rehearsal, Fantasia wasn't in there. We finished up early as far as with the vocalist, and they said, Dennis, teach us a song, sing us a song. So I wound up sharing with the background singers, Necessary. Mm-hmm. Fantasia had never heard it. Well, anyway, fast forwarding, midway through the tour, Fantasia is feeling really, really down. And for those, she's such a sweetheart. She's passionate, but she really can get affected by things that happen in the world.
Right.
She's a praying woman.
Yes, she is.
For whatever reason, she was down that day. And so her singers were already in the room. They was like, Dennis, can you sing Necessary for her? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I said, okay. So this particular dressing room had a piano in it. And then I start playing the song and the singers just come in. And before I know it, everybody is in tears. The Holy Ghost son came into the room. And then her stylist, Darius, decides to go live on Facebook. Mm-hmm. When he went live, boom, we worshiping God. We're singing Necessary. God is in the room. We're speaking to people on the live. Boom. Okay, that moment passes. The next day,
right,
we're looking at the numbers of the Facebook, and it had easily surpassed 1 million views.
Wow.
Then 2 million views. Then 3. Then all the way it shot up to 10 million views.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think it's more than that now when you look at the original post. Now, the crazy part, we're traveling to the next city. Right. I'm sitting up there, we're talking, and then I get a call from Billboard. Mm-hmm. Billboard, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Boom. They interview me. They say we made history because the song, for those who don't know, I wrote that song 10 years before that moment even happened because it's on my first gospel project. So they're saying people went looking for the song, even though that the version with Fantasia is not out yet. Mm-hmm. They started playing it, which means it made the song soar to number 1 on that day on those charts. And so it was just like, yo, you can never guess what God is going to do and how he going to do it. Because stuff like that, you can't program it. So that's kind of how. No. And then to go to the next city. And then she says, I want to put this in the actual set. They roll out the piano midway through the concert. Right. And the audience sees me walking up and already starts screaming because they know what's about to happen because they have watched the viral moment.
Right.
And that's the amazing part about a Fantasia show is that, yeah, you're going to come in, you're going to feel like you at the cookout, you're going to feel like you're at the party.
Right.
And then you're going to worship God at the same time. And that's kind of how that song, and from there, it's been still soaring.
Well, it's a great song. It went number 1 on Billboard. You couldn't have paid for that kind of advertising. You couldn't have paid for it. But when God's involved, I'm telling you, brothers, I tell you. I keep telling you, man. I mean, the song is an incredible song. The music that you write, in my opinion, saves a lot of lives.
Thank you, bro.
Saves a lot of souls. Saves a lot of people that don't know what their next move is, because life is like a chess match. But everybody don't know how to play chess.
I don't.
See? No, right. But it's okay. But see, once you understand that the gift that God gave you, although he gave you many gifts. See, everybody's born with a gift, but he gave you many gifts. And he gave you not only the gift of music, but the gift to save and give that love through your music to other people. And that's what's really important. It's not even about money, about streams, and none of that stuff. Yeah. When you think about, I don't know if you ever thought about how many lives or how many people do you think actually were touched by that song? A song that you wrote, like you said, 10 years prior. All of a sudden now, it's boom, it's number 1 on Billboard. And it's changing lives, and that's what it's all about, and that's what you do, you know.
And I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Sometimes being an independent artist, bro, is like you feel the challenge because being an independent artist means like you're an entrepreneur. Sure, you know what I'm saying, and for
best
me,
way to be.
It is the best way to be, but sometimes that is the hard path, right? Because especially I'm old enough to remember like artists, we really felt like we needed to sign to a record label to make it, you know, because they had the machine, the marketing, all of that. I'm still young enough to know that that is not the case anymore. But at the same time, you know, it is sometimes hard to, you know, find ways to gain attention without selling out your values. You see what I'm saying?
There's a gentleman that I grew up with listening to. His name was oh my God, Reverend James Cleveland.
Yes. Okay.
And he had a song called "Peace Be Still."
Woo.
And I know you know the song.
Of course.
People, for those who don't know, the music business is a smokescreen. It's an illusion that was created many, many years ago. And it was a cycle created to make you believe they may pay you X amount of dollars. Not you, I'm just saying an individual.
Yeah.
And they have you, you know, driving in the nice cars in the house, all that good stuff. But what we don't realize is all that stuff that's going on is coming out the artist's pocket. And the artist is really not gaining because they don't own anything.
You don't own.
You gotta own, like, see, you own your own stuff.
Absolutely.
You own your own stuff. I own my own stuff. You know, I own my own podcast. I don't have to worry about, well, can I do it today? Can I talk to Dennis tomorrow? Is it going to be 15 minutes? Is it going to be 12 minutes?
Right.
No, but an artist, it's sad. I mean, we could talk all day about this. We had to do another podcast about that. But the music business, to make it short, the music business is a very cool business. And if we don't really understand what our purpose is in music, it's really to bless other people, whether it be R&B, whether it be pop, hip hop, whatever it is.
Yes.
You know, just do your thing. And that's what you've been doing. That's what you've been doing.
Bro.
Yeah, come on, man.
You,
come on, you know, I'm gonna give it to you real, man. I ain't gonna listen, man. One thing I don't do, I don't paint smoke screens, man. I tell it like it is, and it's the truth. I mean, you have your own, and you can create your own destiny.
Yes.
Everybody can't do that. See, when you locked into a deal, a quote unquote deal that everybody runs to, the major labels, they own you for a couple of years.
They do.
You remember what happened to Prince? They owned his name, they owned everything, his music. So he had to change his name until he was able to get his name back. So nobody wants to be in that situation.
That's crazy. And for him, like, we didn't understand, or at least I at the time didn't understand what he was doing.
Right.
But what he did was important to what's happening now.
Absolutely.
You know? So
absolutely.
You're
social
absolutely
media.
right, bro.
Yeah, like social media, like you said, streaming live, having iTunes and all these different platforms that you can really control and release a song when you get ready. You can release one song today. You say, you know what, I'm going to release another song tomorrow, next week, maybe the third week, who knows?
Yeah.
But having complete control is very important.
Absolutely.
I got to ask you, man, tell me about, I know you were involved with the music's biggest projects. One is with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
When you performed for President Biden, and the other one was the Grammy performance with Billy Porter. Tell me about that.
Wow, boy!
Come on, brother.
You been doing your homework.
Come on, brother. Come on, man. Look, come on. You talk to E. Will, he'll tell you.
Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me put this mic back on the mic stand real quick.
Now take your time, man. We just trying to, you know, you got to set this mic right because, like, this is a big answer. See, the answer's so big, he got to put the mic in position.
Gotta put it in position.
That's right.
Bro, I'm going to tell you. God just been moving. Like, that's the simplest, that's the simplest answer. Okay.
Right.
So, short version, boom. I've been working with producer Adam Blackstone. And for those who don't know who Adam Blackstone is, I mean, he's like one of the go-to music directors and producers in the industry, especially for live television events. I mean, he's produced the BET Awards, he's produced the Grammys, he's produced the Super Bowl and all of this type of stuff. Well, we got a chance to work together when we filmed for Fantasia's performance for OWN, right?
Yes.
So we actually we filmed all of that stuff last year. So that started a beautiful working relationship. And then he called me saying, hey, I got this situation.
Right.
I'm working with Justin Timberlake and Clemens on a song for the inauguration. And they want some gospel vocals. They want some, you know, can you do an arrangement for me?
Right.
And so when he gave me that opportunity, I went to work. I started doing arrangements. I sent him a demo of what it could be. he said, yep, boom, pull together your group. So I called in Gap, rented studio time, and sent it back, and they loved it. Right. And that's when they recorded it for the inauguration. Of course, Justin Timberlake and Ant Clemens filmed live in Nashville. Using our vocal arrangements, and then they loved it so much they turned around and they made it available on all the streaming platforms and put Kirk Franklin on it.
Wow,
you know,
nice.
Yeah, and then we had to tell Kirk Franklin not to cuss on this version, you know, because we nah, I'm just playing. So.
You're gonna make me choke, man. I gotta get some water now.
I love you, Kirk. I love
Kirk. I love Kirk.
Yes, we do.
I had to get some water on that one.
So that's how we got the gig for the inauguration, and of course that meant the world to us because, you know, obviously it was just a big moment, and most of America wanted to see Biden, and of course our first African American vice president, you know, into office, and so God just continues to like. Things that I speak out of my mouth, like I never said I would be a part of the inauguration, but I knew I wanted to be connected to this administration in some way. And so that was one way to do it. Same thing with the Billy Porter, again, through Adam Blackstone, who was producing a lot of the stuff for the Grammys. Hey, can you do an arrangement? We want to bring it up to date just a little bit, but stay true to the original arrangement of You Are My Friend. And that's what we did, man.
Nice.
That's what we did.
That's good. Yeah, I like Billy Porter. He's cool too, man.
Have you met him?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Me neither. But
I have not. Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you the trippy part of this for me.
Okay.
You know, was obviously one, hearing your stuff on these major platforms, right?
Yes.
Two, not having to compromise, because I, for one, I went from this phase of wanting to be like the next Donald or the biggest gospel thing to like then kind of shying away from it. Like I know my gift is larger than a church, you know, confines. So God, but then what he continued to show me is do what I gifted to you to do, and I will give you the platform. You won't have to change anything.
That's right.
So here I am, you know, working with Fantasia. And then boom, you want, you know, some gospel vocals, then working with, you know, again, Billy Porter and stuff like that. But the weird thing for me, which was crazy, was being able to reference his lead. So when I finally got a chance to see his performance with the rest of America, I'm like, oh, he chose to do my little thing right there. I mean, it's just been just a great ride, bro.
He's huge, man. He's huge. Yeah, Billy Porter's a huge man. I mean, now tell me about Oprah. Like you mentioned the OWN Easter special, I believe it was, right? What was it like working with OWN or with Oprah?
So it's been an incredible opportunity, as I'm sure everyone would agree, to even be associated with Oprah's brand and with her as a person. Now, these last few projects that we've done, I have not been in direct connection with her, but what has been great is that we've already worked before these opportunities that just came. We've already worked with her a few times. We got a call years ago. I got BB Winans called me out the blue and was like, "Hey, Oprah is throwing a birthday party for Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, her 85th party,"
which was my mother-in-law's neighbor in Harlem. Maya Angelou lived on 120th and Lenox Avenue in Harlem.
That's amazing.
And my mother-in-law lived 4 houses down from Maya Angelou. Yes, and Oprah went there. Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Crazy. We'll talk about that later. We can talk about it now. Like, no, I'm saying. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, you can be in the same vicinity and of greatness. And what I want the audience to know is, if you're in the vicinity of greatness, what that mean? What does that say about you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
it means a lot when I bump into people. Like I just interviewed Bobby Williams. He was a Super Bowl champion for the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow.
Now, we lived next door to each other when I lived in Maryland.
That's crazy.
And I called him up one day and said, "Hey man, listen, I'm starting this podcast."
Yeah.
He was like, "When you want me to go?" He said, "Don't even say nothing else." He said, "When you want me there?" He said, "When? Where? When?" So I said, "All right." I said, "Cool." So we talked, and he had referenced. You can listen to it on the podcast. He had actually referenced that, you know, you always meet great people, bro. He said God is walking, and most of his podcast wasn't about football. It was about his journey.
Wow.
And the path that God laid down for him to get from Texas to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And he won the Super Bowl in his last season of all things. So when God wants you to have something and he wants you to be around certain people, he's going to place you there.
He's going to place
you. See? And when you know certain people and you do certain things, it ain't a matter of who you are. You're trying to run somebody down. Because one thing I don't do, I don't run people down. I ask people to come on the show.
Yeah.
And they come on the show.
Yeah.
Dawn from In Vogue, she's coming on the show. I mean, a bunch of people that's coming on it because I asked. Yes. And it's either you can say yes or no. That's but when God has something for you, and like you said, Maya Angelou, and my wife can tell you more about it than I can, but she definitely lived a couple of doors down on 120th and Lenox. And if you ever speak to Oprah, she'll tell you. She was on that block. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And New York is, as you know, is a unique place.
Yes.
And you meet so many different people that do so many different things, and you go, why?
Awesome.
You go, why?
It's definitely a melting pot. Of creativity.
But working with Oprah I'm sure was an experience. That a lot of people don't get to, the reason why I wanted you to come on the show, one was to talk about your journey. And the other one is, I know you have things that I wanted to say this publicly that, like I said to you before, God has something that's going to hit you so hard, brother, you won't even know what's going to happen. You're going to say to yourself, how? It's getting ready to happen.
Wow.
And when it happens, I want you to text me and I want you to call me and tell me, you know what, man, how did you know? I'm only telling you because you've made moves throughout the waves, the airwaves, what they call them, streams. Yeah. So your song Necessary made streams, is what they know now as streams, right? Yeah. As opposed to airplay on the radio.
Yeah.
So not only did you make streams, you saved lives.
Wow.
And you saved souls. You save someone that may have decided, I don't want to go, I can't do this no more. But hearing your music have saved one person. Wow. You did your job.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, I mean, I will say, I just continue to see God bringing everything full circle because, working with Oprah for Dr. Angelou's 85th, that was a night we will never forget. I mean, and you can imagine who was on the guest list.
I can only imagine.
And we were of course she had other special guest artists, but we backed all of those artists.
Right.
And we got a chance to really bond with her and talk to her. And then, of course, after Dr. Angelou passed a few years later, they called us back to do the memorial service, the one that was televised, as well as the private memorial service.
Right.
And so it's like I've continued to be in that orbit. And then, of course, working with Fantasia, doing the stuff for OWN again, and doing the stuff for Delilah that's filming here. I'm not even sure if Oprah knows how full circle everything has been. Right. But, just to know that someone thinks enough of me to even give me the recommendation.
Right.
But what I'm saying?
What I got to tell you is, Oprah may not know, but what I will tell you is, God knows.
God knows. Yeah, He knows.
And that's why it keeps happening.
Yeah.
It keeps happening. You walk through one door, and they say, He didn't bring you this far to leave you.
Yes.
You there.
Man, don't do this to me.
Come on. Hey, listen, I'm only speaking the truth, man.
Yes.
I'm only speaking the truth. I mean, like I said, I know great music when I hear it. I know that you're going to do extremely well, and you got to call me and tell me when it happens, because I'm telling you it's going to happen.
I will definitely.
I just prophesized over you, and it's going to happen.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
What's next for Dennis Reed?
So, man, so much going on. Again, just within the last few weeks, just seeing God move in incredible ways. I want to say this to the listeners.
Sure.
So I have a Gap. But I also have a nonprofit that I started when I was still actually a student at Northwest School of the Arts. And so that nonprofit is called Inspire the Fire.
Okay.
And what we do is we help young people through the arts. So it's a nonprofit that any young person that's age 10 all the way up to 21, so we send them from middle through college, can come and get mentorship and artistic development.
Okay.
So, we've been fortunate enough. We normally have about 200 to 300 kids every year sign up to be a part of our program. The mayor in our city has awarded us our own day, Inspire the Fire Day, which is coming up. Also, back in 2012, we did America's Got Talent. We made it to the finals of that.
Nice.
So I say all that to say that I've been working on music with those students, with those kids, and I want you guys to know, when you hear, listen, this goes back to my godfather. I never believe in cuteness when it comes to kids.
Right.
I believe you killed them dead. And what I mean by that is every time you get up to perform, young people, it's okay to have like a little cute moment or a cute factor, but I need you to bring your A game every single time. And so the music that we've been producing with them, they create their own dances, their own. So I've been doing music videos and filming stuff that we're going to be releasing soon as singles with them.
Okay.
I also have new music that's coming out with Gap that I'll be just, like you just said earlier, I'm just sporadically be releasing singles.
Sure.
And people can, look for me on all the streaming platforms. Also, I started this thing called the Trap Choir in Charlotte. I performed or partnered with a DJ Fannie Mae here. And I was inspired actually by a 2 Chainz performance where he did the Pretty Girls Love Trap Music. Okay. He did that, and he brought a gospel choir on one of his hip hop songs, and they were doing backing vocals.
Wow.
And I was so inspired by that I was like, no one has actually committed to doing a full show of that. Right. So we've been doing that as well.
Okay.
And so it's just so much going on. It's so much going on. We got some TV things that's about to drop as well. So,
okay.
I don't know, bro. I just
now the TV thing, is that going to be on OWN?
No, we're actually working on. I don't even know if I can make the announcement.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that when we. Yeah. We'll talk about that later. 'Cause I ain't trying to get you in trouble. I don't want you to lose your blessings now.
I'll tell you offline, but it's coming, y'all.
But what I will tell you is, it's a blessing. It's a pleasure to know you. Like I said, we met a long time ago. I'm proud of you for what you're doing. Bro. I'm very proud of you for your involvement with the youth, which is huge. Because again, brother, all you're doing is you're just saving lives, and you're doing what God put you on this earth to do, and that's to just do the right thing and live right. And I wish more people would have the energy and the sense enough to follow in your footsteps, because anybody that's in your presence, they should be lucky to even say your name, Dennis Reed.
Well, I'm just, bro, I'm humbled by it.
Yes.
I don't know fully how to receive it all, because what gives me, first of all, I know that everything that I've accomplished right now and in the future, it is literally a God move. Like,
yes, indeed.
I'm not saying that to be like false humble or anything like that, but sure. I know that I'm talented, right? I know that I'm gifted, but the opportunities that have come had nothing to do with me. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Right. We didn't mention it, but I'll just go ahead and say I got a chance to meet President Obama while he was in office and then shake his hand and introduce him in a speech.
Yes.
I told my mama before that moment even happened, when he first got inaugurated, I said, I'm going to meet him. Then God turns around and has me meet him, just the same way I said, one day I'm going to meet Oprah. And then God turns around, just the same way as one day I want to meet Donald Lawrence and Kirk. And then God turns around. So it's just like, yes, you can be talented, and yes, you can be all these things, but at some point it's like, that's a God thing. That's a God move. And even if it doesn't happen in the time frame that you may expect, sometimes it happens sooner, sometimes it happens a little later. I just know. So sometimes it's hard for me to receive all of that, but I do receive it, and I thank you for the opportunity, for real. And I receive the prophecy. No, seriously.
Come on, brother. Listen, man, you're a good guy, man. I know good when I see it, and that's why we reached out to you. And I want the world to know Dennis Reed and continue to make moves throughout this nation and throughout this globe, because now you're global, bro. You're global. There's no more local. I mean, Charlotte is a great city. Don't get me wrong. I'm down there all the time, but brother, you're global now. God is global. Yes, he is. He's everywhere. Yes. Some people will live in a city and say, wow, I go to church and I do this, and they're stuck in that rut where they only know the 4 corners of the block. Yeah. But see, you've walked outside of the box. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Yes. When I was a kid, my dad gave me a box. It was a huge box. It wasn't my birthday. My birthday's in March. And I opened up the box, man. I'm looking inside the box. I see nothing in there. So I said, what is this? I said, what's going on? And he looked at me. He said, that's your problem. I said, what are you saying? He said, you were expecting something. It was a big, huge, empty box with a bow and a card, the whole 9 yards. But the moral of the story is, think outside the box. You got outside the box. Remember, when you're in a box, you only have 4 corners to the box, right? Wow. You were able to get outside the box, got past the gift wrapping paper, got past the bow, walked out, and now you're floating everywhere because you're everywhere. Wow. Now, the young people say you're everywhere. You're everywhere, and that's what I say, man. So I applaud you.
Thank you.
And you got to come back when you have the new project that we're not gonna say publicly, but.
Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yes.
You're more than welcome to come back, and we can we'll talk offline and get everything worked up. And I'm proud of you, bro. Proud of you. God is good. God is amazing, man. And your parents should be proud.
Thank you.
They should be proud.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. And I just want to tell the audience, you know, feel free to please follow me on social media. Dennis Reed on Dennis Reed Jr. on Facebook. That's 2 E's in the Reed, and the Dennis Reed Jr. on Instagram. You can check out more information about Inspire the Fire at inspirethefire.org. And of course, you can check out more of what's going on with me at thedennisreedjr.com. So you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. I just want to give it up for my man, Dennis Reed Jr. Hold on 1 second, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it's loading up right now.